are the end of this evolutionary chain.
Well, what else is? Some supercomputer in a data center outside Dulles Airport? No. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't actually think that...
What's going on, you guys? Today we have Emma Vigeland slamming Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan is giving out conspiracies. Emma Vigeland isn't having it. Let's get into it.
The machine makes these guys. They are really just actors catering to the audiences on primetime Fox News, and they don't have too much to offer outside of the gears that they turn in the massive machine that is Fox News. So Tucker's latest attempt to gain some headlines is questioning the theory of evolution. Again, like, this is an old thing. I remember being a new atheist or a young atheist or whatever I was when I was 14, thinking Bill Maher was edgy and watching Religulous. Oh, they go to the museum that says evolution is really science. Like, what stupid idiots. I grew out of that at maybe 15 years old. But this is apparently now what we're returning to. Tucker Carlson now siding with the anti-evolution folks.
And enslave us? Well, let's say no to slavery. How's that? Is that a tough one? Not for me.
Yeah.
I mean, and maybe a good use of nuclear weapons would be to hit the data centers. No, I'm serious. Like, why is that crazy?
It's not. It's not if you think that human beings are the end of this evolutionary chain.
Well, what else is? Some supercomputer in a data center outside Dulles Airport? No. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't actually think that individuals, I don't think I'm that important. My life is that important. I don't. I will die. I know that. And I try to keep that in mind every day.
But you're important to everybody that cares about you. You're important to the people around you.
If we don't think people are important, then what do we think is important? I guess that's what I'm saying.
Not necessarily that we don't think people are important, but if evolution is real, and if there is this constant, I don't know, but it's visible. Like, you can measure it in certain animals.
You can measure adaptation.
Yeah.
But there's no evidence that in fact, I think we've kind of given up on the idea of evolution. The theory of evolution as articulated by Darwin is, like, kind of not true. Right?
In what sense?
Well, in the most basic sense, the idea that, you know, all life emerged from a single cell organism and over time, and there would be a fossil record of that, and there's not. And
there's not a fossil record.
One word for this can just be yikes. Like, to see this dude, he's obviously not in a clear-headed state. Tucker Carlson may even be in some sort of like manic episode or some sort of psychosis. And you could just his demeanor, his whole vibe is a little bit sporadic. I think even Joe Rogan right here is a little bit turned off by sort of what's going on right now.
A fossil record of what he's describing here would have to be, I mean, at the outset of like the very, very early days of this planet. I mean, that is a very high bar that he is asking science to climb and then disproving the entire theory.
This is a classic, and I'll go back to my new atheist days. This is a classic fallacy of creationists. This is called the God of the gaps, which is that any gap in the fossil record, because of course they're going to be one. Once you add a new thing to the fossil record, there's a gap between that one and the previous and the thing preceding it. It shows that we don't know anything. But yes, no, actually Tucker's wrong.
And the
we
gaps
do share a common ancestor with all life.
Also, there's a common sense explanation for the gaps, given the fact that it's incredibly difficult to record this. And all right, let's keep going.
And just to be clear, they were talking about like AI broadly.
Of course.
Yeah.
Nah, I figured that out. Yeah.
Stupid fuckers.
Dogs, I see adaptation in dogs, you know, through the
through
litter to litter, but. No, there's no evidence at all zero, that, you know, people, you know, evolve seamlessly from a single cell amoeba. No, there's not. There's no chain in the fossil record of that at all. And that's why you don't actually hear you hear them make reference to evolution, because the theory of adaptation is obviously true. But Darwin's theory's totally that's why it's still a theory almost 200 years later, you know.
No, you don't even take it off
we've
the
not
screen.
found.
Gravity's still a theory. Keep going.
Yeah, but that's why it's still a theory almost 200 years later, you know. No, we've not found that at all. And I can't even guess. I mean, I have my own theories on it, but they're not proven.
And right, you know, it doesn't take a genius to see where he was going with that. You have Tucker Carlson saying, hey, look, this Darwin guy is not true. I don't believe in this guy at all, but hey, my name is Tucker Carlson. I do read some books. Me and Terrence Howard, we go hang out sometimes, and that he should have got. It should be Joe Rogan, Tucker Carlson, and Terrence Howard. They should all just write one giant book of how the Earth began, and that can become the new Bible for some of these freakazoids out here.
This is also a project of the right? To discredit science and academia by completely flattening their methodology into something that that anybody smoking pot and listening to Joe Rogan can come up with.
Humans and bananas, for instance, split ancestry 1.5 billion years ago. Remarkably, 25% of our genes remain similar. These shared genes are responsible for the biological functions essential to the life of all eukaryotic organisms. That's bananas. That's light of evolution. This is basic shit.
We also could look quite, at some of the similarities between chimpanzees.
This is sort of like RFK Jr. whenever he says we need to take the cell phones out of schools because the cell phone waves, they're destroying the children's brains. We need to put aluminum foil on the schools.
Between apes, between humans.
He thinks that God maybe made all these things slightly separate.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we actually do share, not only do we share stuff with chimpanzees, we share genes with fucking bananas, okay?
I can't even guess. I have my own theories on it, but they're not proven.
What are your theories?
God created people, distinctly, and animals.
Nope.
I think that's I think what every person on Earth thought until the mid-19th century, actually.
Right, but
it's not a new idea.
They didn't have computers. They didn't have a general understanding that we have today of the process.
Do you think we understand more now?
Yes.
Really?
You don't think that we understand more today?
We understand way less. We understand so little that we're actually sitting here allowing a bunch of greedy, stupid, childless software engineers in Northern California to flirt with the extinction of mankind. So
sorry, that is not what is happening with AI. What's happening with AI is a bunch of nerds got a bunch of money from a bunch of capitalists, and they're trying to create a magic software that can replace workers. That's what's happening with AI. It's not going to destroy the world. It's not going to this sort of Nick Bostrom, it's going to paperclip the entire universe thing is bullshit. All that stuff is hype to try to get more investors to plug more money into this machine. This is the stupidest, most or immaterial critique of AI, and I'm just tired of seeing Lex Fridman. Every fucking moron talks about this about AI.
Well, adaptation is also distinct from evolution. Adaptation is about the environmental factors versus literally the component of the creature or of human beings. Do we have more of this?
So there we have it, you guys. We have Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson on the Joe Rogan Experience. It's Emma Vigeland and her co-host roasting the hell out of them. My take on it is more or less that the world is just beginning, that we are just starting this evolution process. There is, no actual way that we can have a clue where the hell we came from, where the hell we're going. We literally just started. I think that once we get over a few fears, a few things, then we may be able to come together as a species and start to get some things right. But for now, everybody's just trying to make money. Everyone wants to screw each other over for money, and that is the current state of affairs. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, though. It's another day in the progressive way.